All right, we're fixing to lose another bag here. These damn things are so hard to keep operating with Joe hitting them, even when he's going easy. We use these bags a lot. We use this a whole lot. Come on, Rocky. German Shepherd keeps getting in the way a little bit. Stay tuned. We're going to show you physically what was going on in that Usyk and Verhoeven fight. And we're going to technically show you what was going on. Alright guys, just for the giggles of it, we're going to go ahead and just show you what was going on with Verhoeven and what game plan he came in to that Usyk fight. So you're going to stand up with a higher guard, kind of like Usyk, and that's about how Usyk normally is. Verhoeven was more squared up here, and of course he was doing these movements and he was back and forth when he was going, and you're in unorthodox now, right? Verhoeven was doing like this all the time, and he was jumping a lot, and he would complete a circle. He wouldn't do a half moon, as we used to call it, going from here and then coming back over here. Most fighters that you see today, they're not circling around. The only way to have approached somebody, I'll say like Larry Holmes, would have been able to, you would have had to keep some jump in your step and be circling around him too, but you'd probably go up in orthodox style right now. All right. With Larry Holmes, you'd want to come this way to stay out of his jab, but you're still staying away from left. Here's the mistake. Go back into unorthodox. Verhoeven would come in more square as well while he was coming in, and it worked real good until and his trainer said they were working on it until he lost his concentration. And what ended up happening in the 9th or 10th round, he come in, set out with a shot, or maybe come around with a left, and then uppercut Joe with the other hand. I don't know why you'd come over here and do it with that, but he could have done it with that too, but he was giving uppercuts coming up and going into him, and Verhoeven and the guy that was training him actually said that they had worked on that and worked on that and worked on that. And this is something I tell Joe in his peekaboo style to worry in, because Joe will come kind of charging in, maybe not like that, but you've got to keep your concentration up, because somebody's going to come in as you're coming forward and pop you with an uppercut. So if you got your hands up, you need, which they need to be up, you need to be aware. So when Verhoeven was coming in, and maybe he'd go with a left, come on up, he wasn't moving his head no more. It was a loss in concentration. And I'm going to tell you, to go 12 rounds, to keep your concentration is really hard to do. And back in my day, you had 15 rounds. If you had a championship fight, your championship rounds weren't the 11th and 12th, they were the 13th, 14th, and 15th. So you need to, that happened. And I'm going to show them why the moving to the left stopped. Usyk made an adjustment. You're going to be Usyk. And as Verhoeven was going to the left, that's all he did. See, Verhoeven's going to his left, and Usyk just took a step over. And it's as simple as that. One little step over, and excuse me here, he had him. Is that what you saw, Joe? What have you got to have, son, in every round from the opening bell? And you've got to have it while you're sitting on a stool taking instruction. What do you got to have? Concentration, right? So you've got to have the concentration in it. But those are the things that happen. Verhoeven came out. He was circling away from the unorthodox fighter's left hand. And that's a good thing. That's a good scenario to come up with. Go back up in unorthodox style. Now, what we do, not all the time, but what I tell Joe to do a lot of the time, you're dealing with the lefty, maybe you jab out, jab, jab, and you got to really keep his hand up here, your fist, and use it as a blocking mechanism. Because you got to watch out for lefties. A lot of people are like, oh, this is not, you know, it used to be champions wouldn't fight a lefty. That's what the whole Rocky story was about. And they were like, oh, this guy that's no good. No, you hear in there in the first Rocky movie, they tell that champion, Apollo Creed, yeah, but he's a lefty. And he's like, oh, I don't care. And that was a big statement to say, because you don't want to fight lefties, or it's not that complicated, but it's just a getting used to it factor, right? Are you finding that? So hold your hands up, Orthodox. Here's what we do. We'll come in and be doing something and come this way. But you got to keep your hands up, and you got to like bang and then have head movement. You got to get head movement. You want to get out of the way of that left. Over here, that left can't bother me. Maybe I can come in, bam, if he's holding a high guard, bam. Then he comes down, and you bam, and clock him with a left hook. So there's a lot of ways to skin a cat in this sport. But anyway, I thought I'd share that. And we think Verhoeven did a great job. I did not like the scoring that went on. I believe 2 judges had Usyk winning, right?
A draw.
Or had it a draw. And another, I don't know what, do you remember what the other one had Verhoeven winning had? Do you remember?
I don't remember the numbers on it. That was 94, 95, just winning by 1.
They're winning by 1 point, yeah. So Joe's saying to his memory, I can't remember nothing. So, but that's what's going on. And I'd suggest every young guy go over to Kepner Boxing. This cat's dad worked a long time with Muhammad Ali and other world champions, and that guy's got more knowledge and the calmity with his knowledge in his thumbnail than most of us have in our brains. But he's got a good video that came out today talking about fighting low. It's very difficult to do. We're working the shoulders with a 17 point. We're going down like this, not going down all the way and coming up for exactly what he's talking about. That is strenuous to do that. And the style that we use and what we do, we're moving, and it's tremendous here and all through these back muscles and the knees and the bending. I mean, it's excruciating, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This took you a long time to be able to get to the level that you're at, and we're still not there. Just on the conditioning end of it, to be able to do the style that you do. So remember conditioning, folks. You need to You need to be doing strength work, cardio work, the running, the rope work. There's a lot of stuff you need to be doing. So, I'm gonna come up here with anything. I don't know where that hook went. See, I just fainted him and he come out and he went for it. You need to be working on things like that. And you know, I'm always standing around with Joe. Joe will tell you. And see, I do things like this with him all the time. You got to move your head, folks. You got to move your head. Go up as if I was going to your head. Just hold your guard up. And I'm bang, bang. You going to have it right there where I can hit you like that or no?
No.
So bang, bang, bang. You see? Bang, bang, bang. So this sport takes an extreme amount of concentration. You can go in and you can have 1,000 times more talent and natural gifted ability, and somebody come in and you lose concentration in a moment and boom, you're going to get floored. And that's what I tell Joe every time to look on. Because even like when you're sparring people, they break down, right? They come out, they're all giddy and wanting to punch. And how's it end up? They quit or stop punching, right? And that's what you want to do. And Joe's been in a scenario where he didn't want to punch no more. First month and a half, I had a Venezuelan professional, a very good fighter, taking Joe's head off 3 times a week for a month and a half. And I told Joe, you got to punch back. We were up in a high altitude place and he couldn't breathe. We were just having all sorts of difficulty, altitude sickness and everything else. And I told Joe, I said, well, while we're here, work on the defense. And he did. So, and had the fight that we thought was going to happen had happened, Joe would have knocked this guy out in the first round. I have no doubts about it. All right, that's good. So we just figured we'd show you a couple of things. Maybe to interesting up the video a little bit. All right, guys, we're going to, is these lights on? Joe's going to do a arm workout with some push-ups. I don't know the order. Are you going to do the push-ups at the very end, or you're just going to get down and do it in the superset? We're going through these sets a lot quicker, so you're going to see some quicker movement with less rest, and that's what we do. We're just switching things around a little bit, switching the same things around a little bit, and you find little indicators that'll help you come to the conclusions of what you need to be doing. As an example, last Friday Joe did more rapid fire, some body weight squats and calf lifts, body weight calf lifts, and he did them real quicker in succession, and it put a working on him. But he did a lot less reps, so we're going to go more of a rapid fire, but not too fast here. But if you're bodybuilding, you don't want to do this way, trust me. And this is, we do a lot more dumbbell work, and when we're in the gym, we do barbell work, and we do a lot of different things that a lot of fighters don't do today, but that we do. And it's specifically oriented into the style of fighting that we do. We're getting so close now to when we're going to go back to the U.S. and we're asking for prayer from everybody because we've got a lot of panicking situation going on here. That we if you're a praying fella or lady, please give us a shout out to the good Lord. Prayer's more valuable than anything. You know, somebody could give us $1 million and we could go back and be in a horrible situation or something could happen. Prayer's needed more than money or anything, because if we're spiritually good and we got folks praying for us, we're going to be good in every way, shape, and form. Alright. I'm not so sure take what you need on this recoup time, but if you can shorten it up, do shorten it up. But yeah.
Oh,
And you guys have to bear with me. I used to be a very good communicator. If y'all would have seen any of my speeches, and maybe I have one up on the channel, you have to go deep back to look at it, where I'm giving maybe I have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 up, where I'm giving speeches in front of political groups, and I ran for U.S. Congress. I used to be able to speak pretty good, not the best orator in the world, but that was some years ago, and I'm a lot older now and have some ailments that are interfering with my speech and with my processing, so I apologize for that. If you bear with me, the old man can get it spit out eventually. I mean, this is not an easy life. Joe's working at high level, high school courses, and doing all this work is very difficult. Then you have to put up with life and good job, son. Doing stuff like this will reactivate and start working the cellular structure and the muscles, that if you're doing the same thing an awful lot like we do, it'll re-energize the cells to expand and do the tear and rip and repair. And everything, what we're doing, it is to build strength, but not bodybuilding. It's not bodybuilding or like powerlifting or anything. What we do for boxing, and the things you see Joe do, I've seen done time and time again over many decades. And folks that work real hard like this, they get it. So we do a lot of different things, and we'll go through phases. When we get back into the U.S., it's going to be more of hopefully we're going to have all the sparring partners in the world that Joe would need, and I'll Shark Tank him every single chance that we do sparring. If I could put him up against 15 different guys, a fresh guy each round for 15 rounds, that'd be optimum. Maybe take more time in between this one. This is going to be your last set of the arm work at minimum, right? Maybe we'll rapid fire some push-ups at the end here, but this is the last set of the arm work, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not going to do more than the third set here. This is very difficult. And if you have to lower the reps, lower the reps. Don't worry about it. And you got to be eating good too. You got to be eating good. A lot of these boxers, they take so many more carbohydrates than they would actually need. Joe intake more carbohydrates than, the average person that's not fat. But we don't overload on carbs trying to get all our energy from that. And I see a lot of guys today I see these boys trying to lose the last pound, and they go forever without eating it, and then because you weigh in typically the day of or right before an amateur fight. And I guess they're still doing it the same way in the United States as we used to. But there ain't no telling. Everything's getting so weak and worse. But I see a lot of these guys, they'll wear themselves down into nothing and be eating candy bars and everything under the sun. Trying to recoup an hour before they get in the ring. And I've literally seen guys eat 4 or 5 Snickers bars because they're about half dead before a fight, and then they get in there, have a sugar rise that's very momentary because of the physical exertion, and it just little things like that will work against you. And it's about to where we don't even damn well know how to cut weight properly and things like that anymore. And it's very difficult to cut weight. What works for John may not work for Paul every time, So you got to come to grips to figuring these things out if you guys are trying to cut weight. We're not weight cutters around here, so a little bit of a different ball game here. Joe's thinking about when he gets back to fighting at super middleweight, so fight around 168 pounds. I don't know what the amateur classification for that would be today, but around aboutly 168, and so he'll have to be very, 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 very trim. So he'd have to, you know, if we had something for him to do next week, he'd have a whole boatload of weight to cut. But normally we don't operate like that. And if you'll notice, Joe's got his elbows out more at some of these sets and closer in at some of them. We haven't shown here lately, but he'll do declined push-ups as well.
I got 100 push-ups.
All right, you good with that? All right.
Yeah.
I think we're done. I think we've done a whole lot today. We want to finish with Christ as King, Lord, and Savior up in here with us. We hope He is up in where you are. And if He's not, we hope He soon will be. And we'll see you with something different or another video tomorrow. We hope everybody has a great, great week.